Really wanted to make this video on how I designed a electric extruder using an electric caulking gun. I saw this about 2017 in one of the magazines. I think it was Pottery Making Illustrator, something like that. And I had to simplify the language. I didn't really understand what he was talking about, so I went to Home Depot, started shopping around, and found all these little bits and pieces that worked, and I've used this for several years and it's great. You'll see it in a lot of my projects, so I wanted to do a short video on what I use to make it work, and I hope you find it helpful. Thanks. So this is a game changer. This is a battery operated caulking gun by Ryobi, and I've taken it and I've made it into a electric extruder that's compatible with Scott Creek dies. They are about, I think, 2 inches. I believe they're 2 inches. So I've taken this off, which comes with the extruder, and I replace it with 1.25 washers and a little washer to stop the screw from falling through, and a piece of rubber gasket. Now the idea behind, 1.5-inch PVC pipe about 8 inches long that'll fit in here. The idea behind the gasket is they don't make washers that fit tight into the opening, as you can see. So the rubber gasket goes on either side of these washers, and then when the gun pushes, it pushes all the clay out. This is the one I'm replacing. You can see how it's pushed up against the sides, and I just replace it, once every 3-4 months, and it pushes all the clay out, so when you're finished extruding the clay, there's nothing left. This is what the rubber gasket looks like, and I got it at Home Depot. You get, I think, 3 or 4 sheets, and you replace it about every 3-4 months. Breaks down. And these are a close-up, let's see, of the different die. This is the handle die kit. Oops. That is just the common shapes, circles, squares. The tile trim. And the shapes and coil kit. I use this guy a lot for handles. I'll extrude it and then twist it and make the handle out of it. It looks really sharp. Okay, so something to mention before we start is this is the older version of the Ryobi electric caulking gun. The new caulking gun has a space right in here, and when you put it all together and you try to extrude clay, sometimes clay will come out underneath through this little hole. It doesn't come up tight and it'll actually leak out. So if you just get this 2-part epoxy, it is like a putty, and you just break off a piece and you mix it together, and then you can form a little piece to go in here to seal it up so that the clay won't press out. I mean, if it comes out and you don't do this, it still works, but that'll just make it a little bit easier. Anyways, so to put this together, you take off the piece that comes with the extruder, or sorry, the caulking gun. And you can tell I've used this screw a lot and it is stripping. Take this piece out, and then you take the small washer, put the screw in, then you take one of the 1¼ inch washers. Then you take your rubber gasket, you have a hole that you've put into it, push it through, and you can see how the gasket is around the edge. And you take your other 1¼ inch washer, and then you screw it back onto the post. And you take your 8-inch, 1½ inch PVC pipe full of clay. I've already put the clay in there. You take your die, put it in, and you start extruding. What's really good about this is with the other guns that you have to hand pump, it's hard on your hands, especially as you get older, but also it leaves little marks, little like stop marks like this, where this will come out nice and smooth. You'll get a few air bubbles, as you can see on the bottom of this one. You get a few air bubbles, but they're easily smoothed out.